Hey guys, Equinox is going to be an Azure Vaults VOD review. Basically, just going to go over the dungeon for you pull by pull. And yeah, let's get right into it. It's going to be sped up, so it's not going to take forever. So basically, this first pull, you just have the Conjured Lashers that you see here, and you're going to have the 3 Piercing or Crystal Furies. I'm going to pause right here. You see this cast Arcane Fury and the cast Mystic Vapors. Mystic Vapors is stopped by kit interrupts or any form of CC, knock or otherwise. Arcane Fury is also stopped by CC, knocks or otherwise, and it won't recast. Both of those casts won't recast. So if you don't have a bunch of interrupts, don't be afraid to use AoE CC to stop all these casts. Afterwards, the Crystal Furies will cast Piercing Shard. As a Paladin here, I'm going to either Ardent Defender, or Guardian of the Ancient Kings, or Blessing of Spell Warding it. So here, going to Ardent Defender and Guardian just to make sure, because I'm not going to need it for a few pulls. And yeah, as you see, we just tap target interrupt, we hodge, we do all these CCs to stop the Mystic Vapors, and that's it. That's the whole pull. This next pull is the same Conjured Lashers, and then you add in the Arcane Tender. The Arcane Tender is he just does 2 casts. He does Wild Eruption and Erratic Growth. Wild Eruption is just puddles in the ground, as you see there, and Erratic Growth is a targeted ability. It channels as soon as the channel finishes. It stuns the target. It can be dispelled. It can be immune if you have an immune. And yep, that's about it for that area. All of this trash is the same up until the first boss, or after the first boss. So this next area, you're gonna have the Shrieking Whelplings, and the Shrieking Whelplings, all you have to do is CC them. Nothing special about them. They don't do too much. And yeah, we just go through here, let you see an interrupt. And then we hodge the Shrieking Whelpling. You see if I pre-CC it, it doesn't cast. We jump down. These volatile saplings, they don't do anything, except when they die, they do AoE damage. That's about it. And these trees are the same as the one before. They do literally nothing else. So I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward. We're going to get to the boss. Okay, so this boss is going to do a specific sequence of abilities. He's going to do Leyline Sprout, which you see here. Then he's going to do Infuse Strike, which is the tank ability. Then he's going to do the Tank Frontal, which clears these trees. You have to point it correctly. And then he's going to do not Consuming Stomp, but Explosive Burst. It's going to mark everyone. And you're going to get a circle around you. You have to put it on the trees to explode them. And then he's going to do Consuming Stomp. So you'll see it in real time here. So here he's going to do the Infuse Strike. I point the frontal, and then I move. As you see, it hits. It has a very wide hitbox. It hits 5 of them here, and each one spawns a volatile sapling. There's the explosive brand. So you want to hit all 3 of these, and you see he spawns that. So he has 3 of these up, and then he's gonna do Consuming Stomp. 5 seconds after the explosive brand hits the trees, he will do Consuming Stomp, and you'll see this is gonna do a lot of damage. We immune it. Everyone's good. You'll see on the next one that it does a lot of damage if you don't immune it. And then we're going to repeat the cycle. This boss is literally just this cycle all over again. So that's Infuse Strike again. I'm going to turn him, point the frontal. And that's it. You're going to see it's going to hit 5 of them. And that's it. And you just rinse and repeat the entire fight. He's going to do Consuming Stomp. I lay on hands at the very end. You can see how much damage it does just with like 1 tree left over. It makes a big difference. And yeah, it's the whole fight. You just rinse and repeat until the fight's over. There is a cheese spot, but I don't try not to do those because if they get fixed, then I wasted a bunch of time learning the fight that way for no reason. So this next area of trash, there's nothing besides 2 arcane guys. You're gonna see at the bottom. So you just hodge one of these Shrieking Whelplings, and that's it. He dies, and you just walk past the rest. So these arcane elementals just do 2 abilities called Arcane Bolt and Waking Bane, I think. And you just kick as much as you can, and the Waking Bane you just CC, and that's it. The Waking Bane, if you CC it, it won't recast. As you see there, just CCs, doesn't recast, no problem. And then the next, so this next area, I don't like this next area at all. So as you see, like there's 1, 2, 3. There's one pack behind the middle crystal. 4, 5 packs. You have to kill all 5 packs to go to the next platform, or you need like a paladin with bop or mages with slow fall. So these are the crystal furies that you see before. And these are the arcane elementals that you saw before as well. And then there's the rune seal keeper. He does 2 abilities. He does condense frost, and he does the root. He does a root cast. That's the only important cast on him you have to interrupt. And then the unstable curators, they do something called heavy tome. That's just a cast you have to kick. It doesn't really do much damage, so you don't have to kick it. And then they do this AoE that you'll see. Avenger Shield's grieving us. They do heavy tome. And then you do forbidden knowledge. So you see these circles on the ground. If you get hit by one, you're gonna get dazed. You're gonna disoriented, and it needs to be dispelled insta, or the mobs are gonna start beating on everyone else. This also there's the Crystal Thrasher. He does splintering shards, which you see on people here. You see around me this little AoE. Or around my DPS, splintering shard. It does AoE damage to your party, so you don't want to be standing on people. And he does a big AoE that you have to walk out of, or he gets root and you take a bunch of damage. And yeah, it's a whole pull. I'm gonna die here because I didn't bubble. That's just my mistake. This trash is really rough. You pretty much want to take this part slow. The next area you can pull really big. But yeah, you want to take this part slow. Unless you rotate your defenses properly. So yeah, like I said, this is the same mobs we're talking about. Forbidden knowledge, these little circles on the ground you want to dodge. Waking Bane, you see right there, it gets CC'd, doesn't recast. Yep, that's how you deal with the piercing shard packs. And you see, once we clear all that, now we have the ability, we have one more pack, and then we'll have the ability to go downstairs. So you see there, I CC'd Arcane Fury and it didn't recast. Just a little live example, just so you guys can see it. And then we talk to the book and we jump down. So this hallway is the complete. So this hallway is completely different. So you see, there's the splinter or the shard guys on the right, and then there's the casters on the left. You have the only two new mobs are the arcane constructs. These do a frontal that knocks you. It is a stationary frontal, so once it casts, you can move out of it. You also can skip all this trash if you have the ability to. So yeah. Waking Bane, you should have stopped that. You see it sleeps people if it gets this, and there's Arcane Bash. I get hit by that root there, that was a mistake. You see how much damage it does? It does an absolute insane amount of damage. I think I might be dead here. Yes, I do die here. So, this is a poor mismanagement of cooldowns. So what I should have done here, so one, I should have dodged this arcane bash, so it would have saved me a lot of HP. So right here, I should have dodged this. It took me down to half HP. Like, that's how much damage it does. And then I lay on hands insta. I take half HP, and I should have wogged here. And I should have, yeah. I guess I did health pot actually. Yeah, I should have blinded the piercing shard, and that would have saved everybody. So yeah, that was my. This is like very dangerous pulls, like stuff like that, like little misplays like that cause a big issue. So if I would have blinding lighted there and positioned the frontal properly, everything would have been fine, and we probably would have lived. Or if I taunt bubbled it, I would have lived. If I had forbearance up, I'm not sure. I don't think I had I think I had forbearance up. But yeah, that's the whole hallway. Like I said, little things like that can cause you to wipe. So here I'm going to do multiple arcane constructs. And you're just going to, the only thing you're going to have to worry about is dodging the arcane bash, and you're just going to have to worry about kicking the waking. So you see right there, little Avenger shield, dodge the arcane bash. Arcane Bash again. So you just walk out of it. Super easy. This trash is actually really easy, but if you're not on your toes, you can definitely die pretty fast. And then that's it for the hard trash. Then we go into this area. There's vault guards, so these vault guards do something called Ice Cutter. It's just a very heavy hitting tank hit. That's all you have to watch out for. You just have to make sure you're not pulling too many. So you're gonna have these, and then you're gonna have another vault guard here, and then the Rune Seal Keeper. The Rune Seal Keeper is the same one as before. You kick the root cast, and then there's an extra mob in here, the Astral Tendon. He puts a bunch of circles on the ground, not these thundering circles, but a bunch of other circles, and you'll see here. So unstable power, boom, all these blue circles on the ground right here. Dodge them, they do a crap ton of damage. You cannot CC it. It does recast it, so CCing won't do anything. The shield you see on the nameplates, the little scale shield. You want to dispel that because it is a damage reduction for magical damage. So you see these Ice Cutter casts. They do hit very hard. As you see, it did half my HP there, so you definitely want to have defensives for these. As you see, it's like destroying my HP bar. And then we go left here. So this room, this room is actually well designed. You only need to pull half this room ever. You'd never need to pull all the entire room or like any of the stuff on the bridge or on the ramp. So this room is actually really well designed. It allows you to path however you want. Then we're going to do the Scalebane Lieutenant. The Scalebane Lieutenant has the aura around him is a damage increase aura, so you ideally don't want to pull him with too many Vault Guards, or otherwise you're just going to get globaled. He does an Ice Cutter himself, and he does a Spellfrost Breath, which is just a beam. As you can see, the Ice Cutter does a crap ton of damage. And he does the Breath. That's it. That's all the only mechanics he does, and he does the 30% DR. Same as the other guys. Fast forward, we're going to get right into the boss. So this boss has a very set sequence. It is going to be summon, add, arcane cleave, summon, add, arcane cleave, go to the middle, spawn all 4 adds, dodge balls. That's it. So you see summon, add, arcane cleave, and then he's going to do the ball next. Ancient Orb, dodge that. It one-shots you, as you guys can see. He's going to summon, add, arcane cleave, go to the middle. You want to save Divine Toll for the middle here. So I wings, it hits all of them. And you just dodge these orbs and kill the balls, or kill the ads. So these orbs don't come out in like the same spot every time. So you see like that one's on top of me, the last one wasn't. Yep, and then you just rinse and repeat. That's the whole fight. Gonna let you guys see how we deal with this with no healer. Gonna Eye of Tear this one. Dodge the Ancient Orb, and we're gonna get one more ad set because the boss isn't low enough. Arcane Cleave, and you see when he hits 0 energy, he's gonna go towards the middle. There he goes. And we're just gonna wog people here. That's it. That's the whole fight. You pretty much rinse repeat that till the boss is dead. We're gonna move on to this next area of trash. This next area of trash is actually pretty fun. So it's gonna be 3 different types of mobs. That's it. There's nothing more. There's gonna be the Draconflight Breakers, the Tatasek Looters, and the Hornswoggles, or whatever they're called. No magic Hornswogg. So these Looters just put a bleed on the tank. The Breakers do a charge that knocks back, and the Hornswoggs do a stomp. That is just a leap on the ground, and that's it. And then there's going to be these little arcane orbs that you have to dodge. If you stand in them, they'll poly you. It is dispellable, but it's very, very annoying. But yeah, that's it. This trash is really easy. It's very light hitting. You can get away with pulling like the whole room pretty much, as you see. And yeah, that's the whole room. And then we're gonna go down here. It's gonna be a 5-pack. It's the same thing. Ideally, if you're ranged, you want to stand in melee to bait the jumps. And that's the whole room. And then we're gonna fast forward. This is a really good opportunity for a big pull since all this trash is really easy. We're gonna hug the left wall to skip those 3. Then we're gonna shroud. So ideally we wanted to skip these 3, but we didn't hug the wall tight enough. And we're just going to chain this into the next 2 pack. The breakers have true sight, so it's really hard to skip them. Yep, and then we're just going to let it group. Wog myself to full. And that's it. You just tank them in this corner. These do knock, so you can get knocked off the edge here. Don't do that. You don't want to die here. And then we're gonna move on to the next boss. So this boss is we also forgot 1%. Don't flame. Alright, so this next boss, he has 3 mechanics, I think. Yeah, 3. So he has the frost bombs, he has the disintegrate beam, and he has the explosion. So you're gonna see he's gonna do frost bombs. So this, you have to put these circles, so you want to put them like against the wall or in a line or something like that, so you can conserve space, ideally against the wall, that we can fit 2 on a side. So you're gonna see these explode and they do a bunch of damage, and then he's gonna do icy whatever that's called, and it does single target damage, similar to castigate because it cleaves off of the person it's targeting. Yep. And then the frost bomb explodes. This overlap is the worst overlap. This is the only time frost bomb is going to happen that close to this explosion. And you see these rune we're standing in, this is the safe spot. You're going to have that little debuff below. You're going to see like the little arcane shield debuff. That is that means you're safe in here. And you see it does a lot of damage. And then that's it. That's the whole fight. You literally rinse repeat this until you either die or you kill the fight. That was, so like I mentioned, that the first overlap's the only bad one. You're gonna see what I mean in a little bit. So we just keep going through this fight, So also, if you're thinking like maybe pre-freedom walking into the ice patch, it doesn't work. I've tried. Unfortunately, it doesn't make you damage immune. Make sure you pop a defensive if you're dropping in the puddle. It does a crap ton of damage. So up here, so you see what I mean? Like the ice bomb happened and like 10 plus seconds later, absolute 0 happens. So one thing I don't like about this fight is you see the safe spot right here. The next one is designated. Like the next one is the one all the way across the room, even though there's plenty of room on this platform. So that's very unfortunate. So you see I pop our defender there, and we just rinse repeat the fight, and that's it. I'm just gonna fast forward because you know you guys don't need to see the rest of the fight. It's literally the same thing. And then we're gonna do this last fight. So this last fight has 3 key mechanics. He has the splintered shards that come out, which are little at 25 or 75, 50, and 25%. He splinters and he puts a bunch of shards across the room, and you have to kill them. If you don't kill them, they explode and put a giant dot on you guys. He has miasma, which I'll show you as soon as the fight starts. We're gonna pull. So oppressive miasma, if you stand still here, you will not get this dot, but as soon as you move, you will get this dot, or this debuff, and this reduces your movement speed and stacks. If this falls off in any way, that means if you die, you decurse it, you remove it with a movement ability like shapeshift or avatar. You do this in any way, it'll give the boss a permanent buff. Dragon Strike, this is just a big tank hit. You can dispel or reflect it. Crystalline Roar, you should move out of that. So see 75%. All these shards come out, these hardened crystals. So there's detonating hit crystals and hardened crystal. Hardened crystal has a shield on it, you have to break it. So you just kill these. Arcane Eruption. This just puts little swirlies on the ground. These chase people later in the fight. See that? So see that little arcane intellect icon at the very bottom of the boss frame? That is the 3% damage buff that you have to watch out for. And then he does Unleash Destruction. So this is the big hit. This only happens like every 1 or 2 minutes. I don't remember the exact timer. I'll try to get that for you guys. But this is the big AoE. This is where you use any defensive you have and make sure you live it. So that's actually something bad that's happened right here. It gets canceled. If you push it below 50%, it cancels and uses it. So that's really unfortunate. And then we have deaths here. Yep, and then we wipe, and then we're going to redo the boss. The nice part about this dungeon is you get some nice checkpoints. So you see, like, right there, pushing it kind of, like, mess people up because they used their defensives right, like, halfway through the cast. And then it gets canceled because you pushed it below 50%. So make sure you don't do that. And then, yep, we're just going to fast forward to the first Unleash Destruction. There's the 75% I was talking about. There is a spot to cheese this to where they spawn all the shards at the same spot, but again, I try not to practice those strats until it's like later into the live realms. That way, in case it gets fixed, I didn't waste any time on it. So here's Unleash Destruction. I sack somebody, and you're gonna see how much damage it does. One shots our healer from full. And he had 1 stack at this point, I believe. Let me see. 1 stack. Gets 2 right as it goes off, and then 1 shots from full. So yeah, if you don't have any defensive strat, you're gonna die. Then I B-res, and we got a nice stack here. And he just does Dragon Strike. And then he does Arcane Eruption, which spawns more puddles. And that's just a rinse repeat of the fight. He does Dragon Strike again. This next set of crystals, I'm going to save Divine Toll for. You see these arcane orbs are now chasing players because it's later in the fight. You see how it's like running at players. They get really annoying later in the fight. And then we mess up Thundering there. Crystalline Roar, watch out for the frontal. And yeah, that's it. That's the whole dungeon. So overall, I don't think this dungeon is too bad. It's a little bit punishing if you mess up, but I don't think it's too bad. The bosses are a little bit overtuned with their one-shots. You see the overall there. It's about normal for this dungeon. We could definitely do more if it was a cleaner run. But yeah, that's it. Overall, I would rate the dungeon number 2 or 3 balance-wise after Halls of Valor. So Halls of Valor is the most balanced currently in the beta. And then there's a tie between Alcathar and this dungeon. I think this dungeon's a little bit less balanced than Alcathar just because there's 2 bosses that are really easy one-shot capable. The last boss is actually easier than the first boss in my opinion, since it's literally just immune to 1 stable destruction and it should die before the second. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something about the dungeon, and I will talk to you guys later. Like, subscribe, follow Twitter, follow Twitch. Love you guys. Peace.